Hi, it's Gene, retired in Mexico, and here we ask one question, which is do they write them and sing them like they used to? If I can articulate that, and sometimes writing them and singing them like they used to can be a legacy artist who's trying to stay relevant in the 21st century. And so today we're doing part two of our David Bowie series, counting down my 10 favorite songs from the 21st century, starting with the October 1999 album Hours, which we're including due to the fact that singles and the tour, it was still a big part of the year 2000. So number 10, coming in at number 10 is the song What's Really Happening. Okay, and I pulled the wrong video up here, sorry about that. Let's go with this right here. What I want to tell you about this is the lyrics were written by Alex Grant. Now, who was Alex Grant, you say? Okay, so Alex Grant was a fan, and he entered a contest, and Bowie selected his lyrics, and then he wrote the music to it and had him fly out to New York and sing background vocals. So it's pretty cool. And this lyric is absolutely surreal. I have no idea what the song's about. But he writes about the clouds are made of glass and they're falling from the sky, and so Bowie wrote this descending chord progression, and this is from the album Hours that we talked about, and it is really, really a cool song. I hope you agree with me. Number 10, What's Really Happening by David Bowie and Alex Grant. Love that.
Grown inside a plastic box, micro thoughts and safety locks, hearts become updated.
So those songs are going to loop over again when I do the clip. It just comes right back to the beginning, so a little bit annoying, but I think we can deal with that. But yeah, number 10, What's Really Happening from the 1990 album Hours. And sounds like real drums to me, even though the album was full of drum programming. So Reeves Gabrels and David Bowie produced this, and then Tony Visconti came along in the 2000s and did the rest of his catalog. So really, really cool song. Next one is an homage to Scott Walker. And who's Scott Walker, you might ask? Well, he was another artist that started in the 60s, and he was kind of a teen idol of sorts. Not like in the early 60s, but, good-looking guy that did this sort of chamber pop, or whatever you want to call it. Some of you might know the song, The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore. And so anyway, Scott Walker went in this very avant-garde direction, and Bowie does a straight-out homage to him. Actually, imitates him. I will play both. So I'll play a track by both of them, so you can compare their vocal styles side by side. So here's a song called "Heat." This is from The Next Day.
Then we saw mission's dog trapped between the rocks, blocking the waterfall.
Beautiful.
The songs of dust.
Yeah, and then check out some Scott Walker side by side with that, and you'll hear the vocal similarity and the music as well. So moody.
Do I hear 21, 21, 21? I'll give you 21, 21, 21. Do I hear 20?
So neither Heat or the last song, What's Really Happening, were singles. They're both deep tracks from those albums. But I just love them. They're just great, 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 great deep tracks from David Bowie. So the next song we're going to do, number 8, was a song that was originally called Uncle Floyd, and it was from the album Toy, but Toy never got released. It did get leaked on the internet, however, and I had a bootleg of that, and so I heard Uncle Floyd many times. So then later, the next year, they re-recorded it for Heathen, and they retitled it. They called it Slip Away. But it's about the Uncle Floyd TV show. And so apparently John Lennon and Sean Lennon would watch that together. And then Bowie watched it with him, I think that's how the story goes, and was inspired to write this song. So on the original Toy album, they actually used some snippets from the TV show, which is both kind of cool and kind of cloying at the same time. I'll play the Toy version first. They just released Toy officially, 20 years after the leak, 2021, I think, and they omitted this song from that release because there were 2 songs that were re-recorded for Heathen, and they dropped those 2 songs from that release. So, but I love the production on that album. It would be great to hear an official version. But let's go ahead and listen to the Toy version first, which was called Uncle Floyd. Play the Heathen version right here.
Oogie waits for just another day.
Such a weird song.
Drags his bones to see the Yankees play. Owns by tops and flickers grey. Oh, they slip away.
Just that lyric, and we heard it on the Toy version, the chorus. This is the verse, and then on the Toy version I played the chorus. Twinkle, twinkle, Uncle Floyd. It's such an unusual lyric for Bowie, but I just love it. Kind of charming, and it reminds me of a song like, I was thinking of the song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles, because I think that song was written for Sean Lennon, I think, if I remember. No, probably, I'm sorry, Julian. That would have been, Sean wasn't alive yet, but it was written for Julian Lennon when he was a little boy. And just some reminiscence there. And I think Bowie might have been Sean Lennon's godfather. Maybe you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong on that. But anyway, just a charming and odd little song, outtake from Toy. Really cool, really cool. And like I say, I'd love to hear an official, properly mastered version from Toy instead of the bootleg version. See how that would sound. So, all right, coming in at 7 and 6, I've got tracks from Reality. So the first one is called New Killer Star, and that song is uses as a touchstone 911. So check out the lyrics to this. Love that riff. Lyrics continue in that when he talks about the great white scar where the Twin Towers fell. He says, but I'm not going to look at that scar. So, he was living in New York at the time, so he was, everybody was affected by that. But if you were in New York, apparently it was, well, you could just imagine, right? So anyway, but then the song takes another direction, and I heard the video has nothing to do with 911 at all. So, but that's the touchstone here. Really, really a cool song with a killer riff. Love it. All right. So the other song coming in at number 6 is called "Bring Me the Disco King," from the same album, but it's such a different song, and it was initially written in the early 90s for Black Tie White Noise, and then they didn't like it, and they tried it again in 97 for Earthling, didn't like it again, completely reworked it in 2003 with Mike Garson. So Mike Garson is the, if you've ever heard the song Aladdin Sane with that really strange piano, Garson plays that. And I had the great, it was great that I never got to see them together, but I did go see a Bowie tribute show that Mike Garson led. And so I did finally, I'd seen Bowie, but I'd never seen Garson. So I got to see him play some of these David Bowie songs, and then I just had to fill in the blanks and imagine what it would have been like if the real person was there. But it was cool. It was a really cool show, and Mike Garson is such a talented piano player. And he gives us such a beautiful, between the production and the playing of Mike Garson and then the actual writing of the song, it's got a really cool mood. Check this out. This is "Bring Me the Disco King."
Don't let me know when it is over. We could dance, dance, dance through the fire. Dance, dance, dance through the fire.
So jazzy.
Feed me no lies. I don't know about you. I don't know about you.
Really cool mood on that. And on the DVD, it's a showstopper. So I love that. "Bring Me the Disco King," my 2 tracks from reality. So the next one is, we're going back to Hours for what I think might be the biggest earworm of these 10 songs. Every time I hear this song, it just sticks in my head. It was a huge hit, so it was a single, but I just really do love this song, "Thursday's Child" from Hours.
Child.
all of my life. I tried so hard, doing my best with what I had. Nothing much happened all the same.
Child.
All right. So that one thing about Thursday's Child is I think the verses are just as catchy and memorable as the chorus. I mean, you just got this double whammy, right? 1-2 punch. So cool, so cool, and like I say, so melodic. And now you can hear the drum programming a little bit more on this track than you can the other one that we played, which sounded like it had real drums. But I don't mind the electronics and drum programming on here. It's pretty darn cool. What a memorable song, and it was as big a hit as you could expect for Bowie in that time period. Yeah, I remember hearing that song a lot, and it's about it's got kind of a spiritual theme. So love that song. And so coming in at number 4, we're going to go to David Bowie's last album for the title track, Black Star, a 10-minute song. Absolutely love this. I have no idea what it's about. It's lyrics that evoke religion, medieval times, death, and there was a 10-minute video that went along with it. So here we go. Those drums.
On the day of execution, only women kneel and smile. At the center of it all, at the center of it all.
Yeah. So Donnie McCaslin, his little jazz combo that they got for this, so unique. And I was reading a thing about how Bowie had often used rock bands and then told them to play a little jazz, you know, bring in guys like we were talking about, Mike Garson. But Donnie McCaslin and his bass, drum, and keyboard, the other three guys, McCaslin played sax and flute, and then he had the standard jazz trio. He brought in jazz players and said, we're going to play some rock and roll. So it was a little flip. And I think that's what gives the album such a unique sound. Boy, Bowie sure went out on a high note. Love this song, Black Star. And don't know what it's about exactly. Just get lots of impressions and images from it. Really, really cool song. Coming at number 3, we're going to go back to Heathen, the album that we played, Slip Away. And Sunday, the opening track, it has these little, I love the electronics on it, these little synthesizer bloops and bleeps. And I picked a little piece of this song where it's really special, the way 3.5 minutes into the song, the drums drop for the first time. So I picked that little clip there where you can hear the drums come in.
It's our number.
Yeah, beep, beep, beep.
My trials, Lord, will be remembered. Everything has changed.
Oh. Such cool lyrics. Everything has changed, nothing has changed. All this duality in the song. Yeah, I wish I could play more of that because it just develops so nicely over the entire course of the song. If you've never heard it before, highly, highly, highly recommend it. So now we're down to the top 2. What are they going to be? We're going to the album The Next Day. And it's one of the most beautiful songs, beautiful melodies. Where Are We Now?
Where are we now? Where are we now? The moment you know, you know, you know. As long as there's sun.
Such a beautiful melody and such beautiful lyrics. Yeah, I just love these words. Now it starts with all these little geographical nods, little mentions, name dropping of places in Germany and France. And then, where are we now? The moment you know, you know, you know. As long as there's sun, as long as there's sun, as long as there's fire, as long as there's fire, as long as there's me, as long as there's you. And it just builds, and it's this beautiful romantic outro, very powerful. When I listen to this song, I get kind of emotional listening to it. It's just got this, it just hits something, and the lyrics are abstract, but it doesn't matter. It just hits a real sweet spot. The prettiest melody I think he's written in years, and yeah, and not a classic verse chorus. It's got it kind of goes to this extended outro, very cool song from the next day. If you've not heard it, highly recommended. Check it out. All right, we're down to number one. What's it going to be? What do you guys think it's going to be? Well, little suspense. It is from his master video, Lazarus from Black Star, his death letter.
Look up here, I'm in heaven. I've got scars that can't be seen. I've got drama, can't be stolen. Everybody knows me now. Look up here.
So powerful. I'm so high it makes my brain whirl, and I'm going to be just like that bluebird, and I'm going to be free, and I'm going to be just like that bluebird. So, you know, I dug into the song a little bit on Genius one time, and I was like, oh yeah, they're talking about the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and that's just beautiful allusion to that song. You know, the video's a masterpiece, and for a guy who was so into fashion, right? You think about Serious Moonlight, the blonde hair and the suit and the tie, and then he marries a fashion model, Aman, and was photographed, one of the most heavily photographed artists. And look at this picture. Doesn't mind portraying himself as ugly, I would say, really, or grotesque, or whatever word you want to use. Yeah, did not mind at all, or at least decided to do that as theater. You know, this is one of those instances where the context does affect the song. I mean, I think a lot of times artists, what they do in their personal life, or if a song's about a piece of their story, I don't always care that much. I just listen to the song on its own for what it is. But there is something very powerful about this song, knowing the context that he would die 2 days after dropping the album. 6 years later, I find this video and this song just as powerful as it was at the time. My number one song, Black Star. All right, thanks for joining me on the channel, and let me know in the comments what your 10 favorite songs are, if you have given it a listen like I have. And I think we're making a good case here for a legacy artist who still mattered in the 21st century. Look at how he's trending and how everything's still going viral. Bowie, yeah, legacy artist, but 21st century as well. So as we say here in Mexico, buen dia. And don't forget to hit that like or subscribe button. Thank you.